Hello, and welcome back to The Show, the only show where I pretend to know what I'm talking about. Today with us is Cohasset Tech Rep, as well as Cohasset student, Sean Thornton. How you doing, Sean?
I'm good, how are you?
I assume you know why you're here.
I hope so.
We're going to be talking about the recent spike in GameStop and what does that mean and Sean's opinion about it. So what's your general opinion about the entire situation?
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting, the whole situation with Melvin Capital and Wall Street Bets trying to, save GameStop from being, their stock price from being driven down by...
Shorted,
yeah, from other companies. And I thought it was pretty interesting to see the little guy trying to take on the hedge funds.
Now, I don't know if you've heard this, but those hedge funds, private investing firms, are receiving government bailouts.
Yes, I've heard.
What's your opinion on that?
Well, I don't particularly mind that, because we have to think what are the hedge funds for? A lot of people's retirement money is invested into hedge funds, and if those just vanish, and the hedge funds go bankrupt, there will be millions of people just with no retirement money anymore and just having to work to death. That's
the thing. The golden rule of the stock market is don't put in what you're not willing to lose. Now, did you participate at all in this recent spike?
No, I did not.
Oh, well, if you were gonna participate theoretically, what would you do? Like, what would be your trading strategy?
What would be my trading strategy? That's a good question. Probably buy like $100 worth of things because I don't want to lose it.
Interesting.
I don't want to throw all of my eggs in one basket, as they say.
Well, that $100 investment would have ended up being more than around $4,000.
Yeah, it would have.
So, as a student, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you invest personally?
No.
Oh, have you ever thought about it?
I have, but I probably won't until I turn 18 in May, just because of underage.
Law.
Yeah, the law.
Yeah, that pesky thing.
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of the law? Neither am I.
I don't think anyone is.
No one.
Except for the government.
And the police. It's their job.
It is their job.
But back to the stock market. GameStop was not the only stock they did this to.
Yeah, there was also AMC, and they did a little with BlackBerry and Nokia.
Yeah. It was very interesting to see. Were you viewing the subreddit as this was going down?
I browse it occasionally. I mostly watch the stock prices.
Yeah.
I believe is their Discord still banned?
It is.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
There's a secret Discord now.
But I believe GameStop went back up.
Yeah.
I don't know about AMC.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, there was another spike in GameStop.
Oh, good.
They didn't let it die. So, I feel like that's all the questions I have for you, Sean. Any closing remarks?
Good luck to any of those who have invested in it, and I hope you make millions.
Thank you, Sean. With that, I'm Clayton Carr, and this is The Show, the only show where I pretend to know what I'm talking about. Hello, and welcome back to The Show, the only show where I pretend to know what I'm talking about. Joining with us today is Will Laughlin, Cohasset Public High School student. Tell us, Will, are you aware why we're here?
Well, it depends on the circumstances, but I believe I have the basic understanding.
We're going to be talking about the recent spike in GameStop.
Good.
Will here knows a tiny bit, so we're going to be asking him a couple of questions. To start, what's your opinion about the entire situation?
Well, looking at the original drop, I think it should be pretty clear that GameStop hadn't been managing their company well. Obviously, a lot of companies were trying to, what's called shorting the stock, so the value went down, they profited off of it. And I guess what the group that's been called retail investors from all over the internet causing the stock to spike, I guess opinions may be varied on whether it's good for the market, but I think, at least in the case of GameStop, I think overall it's a good thing to see that people are sticking it to Wall Street and turning a profit based on their own doing.
Yeah, turning a profit. Did you know, actually, that the government bailed out these hedge funds? What do you think of that?
I am aware of that, and I think, if anything, it should be pretty disgusting for people to hear about. It's companies that profit off of success and failure, no matter what it is.
But people's retirement funds are trusted with these hedge funds.
And at the same time, though, they're still gambling this money off to try, turning a profit.
So you're saying these people understood the risk before they gave the hedge funds their money?
I feel like people should have. And also, too, it's when companies that only exist to invest and reinvest money to turn a profit are feeling the effects of the market, well, they shouldn't be the sole factor influencing the market. It should be the entire economy as a whole.
All right. Now, did you participate in any of this?
I'm not 18, so I couldn't.
Well, if you could participate, what would you have done?
Didn't really start following it until it started making headlines, but I feel like if I'd figured out what was happening early enough, I might have bought into it a bit. But I think now it's at the point where it's a lot more volatile than before. It's not at the level it was. It's not like at its peak level as it was, at least when the initial spike happened. It's still, I believe, worth around $200 or so per share.
It spiked again, actually.
Really?
It was down at below 50 for
Wow.
like 3 weeks, and then it spiked back up to 200 yesterday, actually.
Wow.
Now, William,
Yeah.
what do you think about, this entire situation? It's pretty crazy. Do you think this is illegal? Should this be regulated?
Well, I feel like the illegal part needs to be considered case by case scenario. Because if you look at what retail investors did and call that illegal, well, that means the government's regulating what a bunch of people sitting at their desks at home talked about online, rather than a hedge fund or a company that made a concentrated effort to lower the value of a stock to still profit off of it. So I think it's speculation and homemade analysis should, be taken just with a grain of salt. It essentially doesn't really matter in the end. For the longest time, what someone says about a stock on YouTube does nothing to affect that, up until a few weeks ago, obviously, with the GameStop incident and the whole issue that's come from that. But when companies are taking a concerted effort to manipulate the value of a stock by buying and reselling it repeatedly and still turning a profit, I think that's the point where it should be, the government should step in and say, well, all right, well, here's the issue, here's how we're going to regulate it and prevent that from happening.
You see, I'm very against government regulations. I believe if governments regulated this would be a violation of the free market. Now, you could disagree with me, and you'd probably be right, but I like money.
A lot of people do.
They should. It's very nice.
It is.
And with that, that is the show. The only show where I pretend to know what I'm talking about. I'm Clayton Carr, and goodbye. Hi, and welcome back to The Show, the only show where I pretend to know what we're talking about. Joining us today is Mrs. Humphrey, Cohasset High School teacher, and we're going to be talking about the entire spike and internet collaboration to drive up the price of GameStop. What do you think about that?
I think it's wild, and I kind of like it. I think it's pretty exciting, too,
I
that
know.
social media can make something financially crazy happen and beneficial to many and detrimental to many as well.
Did you take any part of this, or?
No.
If you theoretically would, or would want to, what would be your trading strategy?
Well, I think that the people who were successful just paid attention to what they were writing on Reddit and followed instructions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the power of it, that they were able to come up with a strategy, share it publicly, but still with an isolated group, and then that they trusted that everybody would do what they were asking them to do, and it ended up with such a high payout.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can have your personal strategy to benefit from it. I think you had to go with the group. That's the whole way it worked, or didn't work, depending on which side you were on.
Sounds logical. Now, these hedge funds, they lost an estimate of around $70 billion. Now, how do you feel about the government bailing them out?
I don't think they should. I feel like there's a lot of people who need bailing out right now, and that it shouldn't be people with millions of dollars who happen to get duped by some guys on Reddit.
Yeah. This is the first time something like this has happened, where retail investors have actually come together and done this. Now, do you think things like, and you know, throughout history, different hedge funds or other investment groups have also been doing strategies like this, where they short a stock and then make money off of the loss? But my question is do you think this type of trading practice should be regulated?
I think that it's a tough question, because really it comes back to a question of organizing, right? Who has the right to organize, and therefore if you can organize all these people who can invest $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, can you go up and play against people who are investing hundreds of thousands of dollars with their hedge funds, or millions of dollars with their hedge funds? And it's organizing like unions too. Should unions be regulated? Doesn't that go against the whole concept? If you're going to regulate individuals for talking to others before they invest individually, then you're really going to have to change the whole process of day trading, which has been something that's been going on for a while.
Yeah.
You probably might have to get rid of the whole thing. I don't know. This isn't my area of expertise, so I'm just speaking off the cuff, my own opinion.
Now,
I'm formulating right now.
Now, I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you for coming on. I'm Clayton Carr, and this is The Show, the only show where we pretend to know what we're talking about. Goodbye.